Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Sharifa and my poetry name is New Lily. If you're new, please check out the links located in the description box and comment section. And in both locations, you'll find an identical set of links that lead to videos that talk about what started my targeting in 2020, as well as links to videos that share information about the technology utilized on targets, tactics utilized on targets, and information about the targeted individual program in general. This is, I almost said the same thing. Yeah, I keep saying this dot now. Like I noticed in like these recent videos, I keep saying this is not going to be a long video, y'all. But I really have been trying to make my videos shorter, as y'all may have noticed. You know, that part 7 targeted individual dream manipulation video was 4 hours long. So I do recognize that was a super long video. And it had actually been months since I created such a long video. But around that time, this was just 7 days ago, a week ago, a lot was happening, a lot of activity, right? Still a lot of stuff happening. And stuff is always happening when you're targeted. But there was a lot that I wanted to document around that time. And then I had that weird dream. And so I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to sit there and just document everything that had been taking place around then. And then document what took place in that dream. So it was a long video, and I didn't really feel like breaking it up. I didn't even know how I would break it up into parts, because this is already a part 7 to my dream manipulation series. So I didn't know how I would break up a part 7 video into different parts. So this is why I just made, that super long video. But other than that, as you can see, I've been trying to make my videos shorter. The part 2 discussion and more targeted individual documentation, a little lengthy, an hour and 50 minutes. But still shorter than my typical videos. Recently I've been trying to do like 30-minute videos, 50 minutes, hour and a half, that type of thing. I really have been trying to make shorter videos. And so that's why I keep saying that at the beginning of my videos. This is not going to be a long one, y'all, because I really am trying not to make long videos. Anyway, y'all, with this one, what I'm talking about is, first of all, shadow networking, right? I just recently posted a video about shadow networking 2 days ago. As you can see, it says part 5. Example of the shadow networking AI software utilized on targets, and you can see a thumbnail of an African American female being arrested by a white officer. And the reason that I put that thumbnail is because that's something that they're constantly, a theme that they're constantly sending to me with the shadow networking, and portraying this false narrative of what took place when I tried to relocate off of island in 2022. Remember, I told y'all my targeting went viral when I tried to relocate off island. Didn't know I was a target at the time. I had some reactions that created, I don't know, I guess you could say this explosion that made my targeting go viral. There were like 3 things that happened that made my targeting go viral. And one of those things was an interaction I had with a police officer in Indiana. So they keep painting this false narrative of what really took place that day, and my perception of law enforcement and my interaction with law enforcement. And so I broke it down in that video. I was showing you all, first of all, how they use the shadow networking software to send me that theme, to sensitize me to that certain theme, that false narrative that they paint, or that false portrayal of what really took place with that officer. I was just showing you guys how they keep sending me nonsense with subliminal messaging in it, in my recommended on YouTube. And then I was breaking down what really took place versus the false narrative that they keep trying to, portray. So that's what that video was about. And this video is kind of similar. It's not similar in the way where I'm talking about that specific subject, but I am talking about, again, shadow networking. This is not going to be a part anything, right? So it's not like a part 6 example of shadow networking. It's not. But I am showing you, again, how they use the shadow networking to paint false narratives, try to humiliate you, try to come for your self-esteem, and just try to mess with you psychologically in general. I'm talking about that in this video, and then also the hypocrisy of it all too, especially with how they try to villainize you with the shadow networking, trying to portray you in a certain light as if you're some sort of monstrous something, right? When that's really them and the things that they do, right? Listen to how the music started when I said that. Listen. No, mind you, I was just watching another target. They do this to all targets, right? There's this other target in New York, and he was showing this female, and apparently, I already told you guys the target. I don't have to tell you this. If you're somebody that's been outside of the U.S. and you've dealt with the targeting there versus elsewhere, I'm sure you know the difference in how severe the severity can differ, right? In the mainland, in the U.S., I'm in the U.S., I'm in U.S. territory. The island I'm on is U.S. territory, but in the mainland, the United States, the targeting is way worse. much more invasive. And so, some of the targets in the mainland, a lot of you are there, right? So I know you know what I'm talking about, right? It depends on what your level of targeting is. There are different threat levels and different levels of targeting too. Some targets experience way more heinous treatment than others. But anyways, this lady's in the mainland, and so is this guy that was showing her in his video. And he's in New York, I think is what he was saying. While he's showing a video of her talking about them burning her genitals with their technology, he's saying how disgusting and vile what they're doing is. And as soon as he said the word disgusting, they start revving up in the background. I'm hearing the rev campaign in the background, and I see him getting uncomfortable and awkward. And that kind of plays off of the recent videos I've made, my part 2 discussion and more targeted individual documentation. And I even talked about it in my part 5 example of shadow networking AI software, how they're constantly staring at you and listening to everything that you're saying obsessively. And they purposely make noises for certain things to program your brain, humiliate you, mess with you psychologically, etc. So there's something to do into all targets. It really doesn't matter what your threat level is. So that's me going off on a tangent, but that they turned up the music when I said what I said about the monstrous thing and how that's really them, right? So I'm gonna break it down, right? We're gonna talk about it. I always talk about it and break stuff down. So of course now they're going to start doing the loud noises like a child. Remember I told you whenever I make sense and I can bust down some of the bullshit that they're doing or some of the stupidness they're sending to me, they start to try to shut me down with noises, loud noises, right? So let me move from the location I'm at, y'all, because I don't have a problem with moving. Let me move to a new location and continue with what I'm saying. Now here the gaslighting. When I said moving, they're making the bird drones make noises. Now mind you, they know I tried to leave in 2022, right? I tried to leave. I had money saved, a good resume, right? They followed me, they stalked me ruthlessly, right? And I had these stupid reactions that made the thing go viral. So they know full well that I can't go back to the mainland with what's happening. Now they're going to gaslight about move. This is the bullshit they do. But anyways, let me continue. Ew, this nasty lizard here, y'all. Really nasty looking lizard. Like the flat, nasty looking lizards. It's disgusting. And I don't even know if it's a drone or not because they have all kinds. Listen to the loud hum. That's also what I'm documenting, by the way, y'all. Because they've been using that a lot on me recently. Hearing the loud hum on this side, y'all. They've been using that a lot on me recently. And I even had, a day of feeling not well on Monday. And I already heard that Havana syndrome hum thing, right, can mess with your body. So it's not like it's just irritating to your ears. It can actually physically mess with your heart, your organs. I've heard some scary stuff about it. Look up Havana syndrome and the diplomats that it was utilized on and what happened to some of them. That's why I'm documenting. Hold on, let me go get my fan. So I'm documenting, recent tactics being used and, the physical effects that I felt from it. That's what I'm documenting in this video. And then also, again, like I said, just discussing the shadow networking and the hypocrisy of some of it. Sorry that I sound winded, y'all. I'm actually moving, like I said, to a new location because, of course, they parked their ass in some corner and started blasting music. I can't even see them. So I'm moving to another location. This is the crazy thing. It's like you're dealing with this torture and harassment 24/7. They're even creating false narratives. You feel the need to defend yourself with these videos. But not just that. Physical things, like you hearing a hum when you've done nothing. And so, of course, you want to talk about it, and then they gaslight you for talking about it, and you get punished more. It's just this sick, twisted, dystopian type of weird program where you have no free will, no free thought. Nothing like what the Constitution really claims, right? Anyway. So anyways, y'all, let me continue. And I feel like I lost my train of thought too because I had to move. Y'all know I don't mean to keep repetitively saying this, but the reason I keep saying it to remind you all is so you can understand and excuse me when I lose my train of thought. Understand why it's happening and excuse me for that. But I do have ADD, and it doesn't take much. I lose focus anyways without anything happening, much less for all the distraction, the noise campaigns, the humming, the Havana syndrome that makes me out of breath, like how I feel now, all of this nonsense, right? So anyways, y'all, so first thing that I wanted to do was just document the Havana syndrome. Since I'm talking about that already, let me talk about that first, and then I'll break down the shadow networking and the hypocrisy of it all, right? Hold on. Well, certain aspects of it, how they like to try and, paint you as a monster with the subliminal messaging. I'll explain in a minute. If you've checked out my shadow networking part 3 video, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, sit tight. You're going to see what I'm talking about, right? So hold on. Let me just first of all talk about and document this Havana syndrome. I texted my mom twice, right? Because recently I noticed that they've been using the Havana syndrome on me again. Remember I told you towards the end of last year they were using it on me a lot. Like around the time when I first started doing security again. They were using that thing like crazy on me. It was almost like every day, all day, they were doing that at the end of last year. And it was so bad. It was messing with my body so bad that I was having sleep apnea. I was having like trouble breathing a little bit. I was feeling extra winded. Despite my working out, I think my working out was what was keeping me afloat, and keeping my body in tip-top shape despite what's happening. That it was really having a physical effect on me. And if you look up Havana syndrome and some of the symptoms, it can have a host of symptoms. And some of those include messing with your body, your organs, your heart. It can really have a serious effect on your body. It's not like it's just something that's meant to irritate you and, make your eardrums vibrate and make you have like these egregious reactions, because that's what it can do. It's meant to irritate, and it can also change mood. So it can make you act out in certain ways, make you more angry. You're already dealing with what you're dealing with 24/7, which already invokes wrath, right? And then they're using these physical technological devices to help entice you even further into wrath, right? So it's doing that. It's making you feel wrathful and angry, but then it also has a physical effect on your body, as in it can have adverse effects on your organs. I think I saw your brain, if I'm not mistaken. It can mess with your brain as well. Let me look that up real quick, because I did research on this last year and I haven't looked into it again, but this is what I recall. There were diplomats that I believe in Cuba, and some of them had some serious effects. A lot of them had I think heart defects, all kinds of stuff. Let me look it up, because I'm going to document, especially with what I started to feel on Monday. More than half reported intense pressure or vibration in the head, ear pain, diffuse head pain, and cognitive problems such as forgetfulness and poor concentration. Tinnitus. Y'all listen to some loud thing they started here. Now, remember I told you back here when I sat back here, I don't remember which video it was where I was here at work and I was sitting here in the back and they kept turning on this loud generator. They turned it on again. Anyway, there's more. Hold on. Tinnitus and hearing loss occurred in 1/3 of cases, and dizziness or unsteady gait affected 1/4. Hold on a minute. Now let's look at severe symptoms. NIH studies find severe symptoms of Havana syndrome, but no evidence of MRI detectable brain injury or biological abnormalities. Let me just skim through this real quick, y'all. I don't want to sit here reading a whole paper because I don't want this video to be too long. As a matter of fact, let me show you something. I know where I can show you about those diplomats that's for Havana syndrome, right? One of the videos I actually posted. Check this video if y'all haven't gotten a chance to yet. I shared some good info in here, right? This is more proof that the gang stalking and targeted individual program exists. It's COINTELPRO, that's the correct term for it. And in this video, you can see the thumbnail says, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting how stupid this recorder app I have is. And when I switch over to like a new app or I start scrolling, then my voice goes in and out and you can't hear me clearly. So let me start that again. Check out this video if you haven't already. See, it's 23 minutes long. It's called Irrefutable Proof That Gang Stalking is Real. And you can see the thumbnail says FBI COINTELPRO. And in that video, I share several targets that are reputable, right? These are high profile targets that were a part of different government agencies such as NASA, FBI, CIA, etc., that for one reason or the other became targeted. Oftentimes they were whistleblowers, or they had some sort of like disagreement with one of the, I guess, higher ups, and so they got targeted. For instance, there's a NASA scientist in this video, and she got targeted because her work was stolen from her. And so she, of course, bucked back, and they targeted her. But you'll find some reputable sources in here, and just verification and more evidence to prove that this program really exists. So let me go in there, though, and show you some of the symptoms that some of these targets experience. So you can understand that this is across the board something that happens to many targets. These health effects, it's really a dangerous thing. Wait, y'all, before I do this, let me just, no, I'm in here, right?
If you're new to my channel.
The odd thing is, I told you guys this already, when I'm using this recorder app and I play a video, I can't hear it while I'm recording. But then when I listen back to the actual video, then I can hear it. So I'm not really able to hear what's being said, but that's okay. I can tell from looking at the screen the part that I'm looking for. So you can see these are just, in this video, different, whoa, look, it's blacking out. Why is it doing that? There are you see different people, different targets, from different government agencies that got targeted. Look at this. For instance, DARPA scientist, senior scientist, has reported that electromagnetic torture and harassment are legally being used on citizens on a widespread basis with harmful intentions. He also has stated that cell towers are weaponized to broadcast brain resonance frequencies, right? They're using frequencies. I was just looking at this in that same target I was just referencing, the guy in New York, where he was sharing the video from the other target, the female that said they were burning her genitals. She was talking about, oh, no, that wasn't that video. It was another video with another target, a female target, where she was talking about how they utilize frequencies to mess with targets. I've talked about this in several videos, y'all. I'm not going to go into the details about it right now, but understand they're using these synthetic frequencies to mess with targets. The world is on a natural frequency. They're using these man-made synthetic frequencies to mess with you. Your brain is microchipped with an RFID chip. That's an acronym for radio frequency identifier. So understand that they're using frequencies from these cell towers, from the satellites up in space, etc., to utilize this technology on you. I've talked about this in detail. I don't want to go off on a tangent, y'all. But I've talked about the frequencies and the technology and etc., etc. This is part of the links that are located in the description box and comment section. But I've talked about that specific subject matter in this video right here. Evidence of mind control technology used on targets. And you can see the thumbnails of a blue brain with a big old yellow microchip, right? An RFID chip, a radio frequency identifier. So check that video out, y'all. I share a lot of information about this technology. That's one of the links, like I said, that's in the comment section and the description box. Anyway, so he's just talking about what they're using, right? Dr. Paul Batchel holds a PhD in computational and applied mathematics from Princeton University. So understand that these are reputable sources in this video, right? But that's not who I was looking for. There's a specific lady I was looking for that was talking about her symptoms, and there she is. Right? Barbara Hartwell, former CIA media propagandist, faced violent retaliation from exotic. I like the wording in this. Because it is exotic, right? It's so crazy what they're using. But exotic electromagnetic weapons upon becoming a whistleblower. She suffered brutal electromagnetic attacks, which resulted in severe and unbearable pain in her head, violent / projectile vomiting, heart symptoms. You see that a lot of targets complain about that. Heart symptoms, something about these frequencies and these things that they're using on us messes with our heart, right? I've felt symptoms. I told you already, it's happened to me several times where I've had to get up and drink tea because I'm into natural health and I know about the heart health and I know about blood vessels and I know about how you can unblock the heart from blockages, etc. Oftentimes when I'm feeling these symptoms, I'll get up and I'll boil some, and I'm telling you to do this too if you're feeling this happening to you. Get up and get some tea, boil some hot water, put cayenne pepper. If you don't have cayenne pepper, black pepper will suffice, but it's better to use cayenne pepper. Put turmeric powder if you have it, or some sort of herbal tea, right? And if you have an oil, some sort of coconut oil or butter will suffice, or milk, you need to put that in that pot and you need to boil it. Because what happens is pepper has something called piperine in it. Cayenne pepper has something called capsaicin in it. And those things help to unblock blood vessels. So it can help open up your blood vessel when it's constricting, because that's what's happening. Whatever they're doing to mess with your heart is causing your blood vessels to constrict, similar to like when you have high blood pressure. And so that's why you're feeling that feeling in your chest, and you're feeling that like tightness in your chest. It feels similar to like an anxiety attack, an extreme one, right? And this is what they can do. They can mess with your heart, all kinds of stuff. This stuff is scary. And so drinking that is a good way to help. The turmeric powder helps with inflammation. Obviously, some sort of inflammation is taking place with these synthetic things that they're using on you. Turmeric powder is hard for the body to absorb though. So this is also where the capsaicin or the pepper, the piperine comes in, because the pepper opens up your blood vessels, as I said, and so it makes the turmeric more absorbable. And then the fat, like the butter or the milk, is a fat soluble. And so what happens is the turmeric is going to cling to that and absorb into your body. So that's what you need to try to do. And so typically I'll get up and I'll make some sort of tea. I'll put milk, I'll put a bunch of pepper, I'll put cloves in there too. Whatever I have on deck that I know can help. Sometimes I even throw a little ACV, apple cider vinegar, in there, right? All of that's good. And that helps significantly whenever I'm feeling that feeling. And I drink the tea and I just sit down and I keep calm, I notice I start to feel better instantly. And so that's what you need to do. And also go outside and put your feet in the earth, because the earth oxidates your body. It's called earthing. And so I do that and it helps. Like whenever whatever is happening happens, I make my tea and I go outside and I put my feet in the ground if it's bad enough, and I start to feel better. But I noticed that started happening to me a lot when I got back on island and my targeting changed and I started dealing with neuromonitoring. I noticed I started having a lot of those type of chest-like symptoms that other targets complain about. So look at what it says. She suffered brutal electromagnetic attacks which resulted in severe and unbearable pain in her head, violent / projectile vomiting. Yo, I'm hearing stuff falling and stuff. You know, they have all kinds of drones. Remember I told you, they have all kinds of drones, all kinds of insects and stuff. So I'm definitely trying to keep my eyes open. I heard something drop behind me. Heart symptoms. Anyway, that's the only reason I put this on you. I'm not trying to stay on this. I just wanted you to see the heart symptoms, because something happened to me on Monday I'm about to document, similar to what I was just telling you about where I need to make the tea. And so this is why I was just trying to show you that this is a common thing amongst targets because of this weird synthetic technology that's being used on us. Laser cut / burns, that's similar to what I was talking about earlier a little while ago with the guy from New York that was showing that lady who said they were burning her genitals. You know, some targets really have it bad. Like some targets, you know, I've seen pictures of targets where the whole face is fire red and like blistered from this technology, like especially in the mainland. I keep saying that I'm not like anti-government. I'm totally not, even though they try to falsely portray that as being the case. I'm just speaking facts. The targeting is much more worse and invasive in the mainland. And so that's just it. That's facts. It's not me being anti-U.S. or government, because I'm a U.S. citizen and I live in the Virgin Islands, which is U.S. territory. But in the mainland, it's much more invasive, the stuff that they're doing. You have targets with burnt genitals. You know, they're talking about being assaulted in that area. You know, like real creepy stuff. Anyways, so she writes, it is well known and prolifically documented fact that such electromagnetic weaponry exists and has been operational for decades. Understand that. I've been telling y'all this. I told y'all this started since 9/11, when the war on terror started. 2001, 9/11 happened in 2001 when the Patriot Act was enacted. They started doing the watch listing. They hired on that general that was a part of the original progenitors of this program, the Nazi Stasi government, East German policing system, government system, right? And that was like around the Cold War when they were using this thing. That's where they got it from. They hired on some dude named Wolf. I can't remember his full name. I think his last name was Wolf. Check this video out. In the end of the video, I think, is where you can hear who they hired on. But they hired him on and they adapted this program and started using it here in the U.S. But it's not just in the U.S. It's worldwide. And apparently there's some creepy agenda attached to it. I've talked about it in several videos. If you care to look through my videos, you'll hear about it. I learned this last year, and they started to create what they do, paint false, creepy narratives. And so I don't really talk about it anymore because it freaks me out. But it's a lot to this thing. It's creepy, it's freaky, and once you get targeted, you start learning a lot of creepy stuff if you're like me and you do research. Anyway, so she said operational for decades, used by the military and intelligence agencies, including but not limited to the FBI, CIA, NSA, DIA, and DARPA. She states that the CIA is heavily involved in legal, covert, domestic operations having no oversight, right? So it's creepy. There's no oversight. There's really no management to it because it's like this top secret, illegal but legal program. Like it's this weird thing where it's like it's this hidden type of program that's not really, it has no laws or any guidelines to it. That's why there was a judge named Anthony Trenga in 2019 who ruled it as unconstitutional. You don't even have due process with this thing. Anybody could get thrown on. All it has to do is somebody that has the power to throw you on the list. If they nominate you, there's no rejection of nominees. You get thrown on. It doesn't matter what the fuck is going on. You get thrown on. No due process. Anyways, let me get back to the point, y'all. So enough of that. The reason I want to show y'all that, though, this is a part of the point, was to document, like I said, some stuff that started since last week. So I noticed last week, look, they took off the generator. I noticed last week they started to, it seems, look, doing it now. I'm hearing it now. I was feeling my ears vibrating. I already know because I'm feeling that kind of slightly out of breath feeling, like my chest, the chest area. It's this thing that starts happening. I always know when they're doing it. Anyway, so last week I noticed, I wouldn't say even week before that really is when it started, but hardcore last week, I noticed that they started doing the hum again, the Havana syndrome, what I suspect to be Havana syndrome. Remember, I can't concretely prove that that's what's being used on me. I can prove the technology exists, like what I just showed you. I can prove I'm targeted. I'm documenting all these different things that's happening to me. Y'all hear the Rev campaign and the plane and all that in my videos, but I can't concretely prove that that's exactly what's being used on me. But I, from research, suspect that that's what's happening, right? I'm hearing the hum. It sounds like some sort of cicada, right? My ear is vibrating, and it also feels like it's this weird thing where it's almost equivalent to being on an airplane. Like when the airplane is going down and you're feeling the pressure in your ear, it's relative to that. That's the feeling. That's what it feels like, kind of. So anyways, I noticed last week, actually week before last, they started doing it, on some nights at work randomly too. It wasn't even like I had made a video or anything. I noticed I'm doing the hum. I'm hearing it. I'm like, why are they doing that? I'm like, what the heck? I would even say it. Why are y'all humming? Every time they're doing it, I say it out loud. I'm like, why are y'all doing that? Why are they humming in my ear? I always say that, right? So last week I noticed they started doing it real hardcore. They started doing it almost every night at work. At some point in the night, they would be doing it. It's not like an all night thing necessarily, or if it is all night, I'm not necessarily noticing that it's all night. But there are certain points in the night where they're doing it, and it has an effect on me. It really does. So I noticed now last Sunday that just passed, right? Remember what's today? Friday. Days are going by so quick, y'all. When you're targeted, time flies, I'm telling you. And you start to feel like you're running out of time for real. They like to use that stimuli, running out of time and, fear-mongering, all this creepy stuff that they send you. But they're taking so much of your time, so much valuable, precious moments of your life that you do feel like you're running out of time. You start to feel, especially if you're like me, you're a female and you're in your early 30s, these are your precious years when you should be trying to build up your life and get into your career and get married, etc. You start to feel like you're running out of time and your biological clock is ticking when they're doing the things they're doing and sabotaging your whole life. It does start to feel like that. But the time is just flying by, y'all. I'm telling you, I still am baffled that I'm 32. I remember when I was making 30, right? Remember, I've been targeted since 2020. So age 29 was when I got targeted. I remember when I was making 30 and I was freaking out about that. And now I'm 32, halfway through my 32nd year. This is craziness. Because of them and their craziness and sabotaging my life, it just feels like everything is just passing me by. Anyway, forgot what I was going to say, though. So I didn't mean to go off in a tangent. So last week, I know it's hardcore, they're doing the thing, man. Hardcore, they're doing the hum. They're hardcore. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why are they doing it so much? Almost every night, they're doing the hum hardcore. I'm like, why are they doing this? And then also, the other thing they're doing is they're taking the insect drones. That's another technological device. Look, they just flew it in my face when I said that they use on targets. Check out the links in the description box in the comment section. They're taking the insect drones and they're biting up my arms all night. Now they know I have this new directive, right? I've talked about this in my recent videos, y'all. Check out those videos, right? Remember the recent videos I've made, my gang stalking activity documentation videos and my PTSD videos. Particularly my part 3 targeted individual PTSD and trauma video, where I document what happened with, my coworker and, how it culminated in me now having to sit outside all night, when before I used to be able to sit in my car, right? And then if it weren't my car, if I wasn't look, they're flying one of the insect drones. If I wasn't sitting in my car, then I could at least sit in the office. It's now this new directive where I have to sit outside in the elements all night long. And these insect drones they're purposely, whoever's controlling them, having a field day with me, right? So they're taking like the little gnats and stuff and biting my arms up all night long, right? It's just some nights they do it all night long, like whoever's controlling the thing is demented or something, and they'll be biting me up all night long. And then look at the flying this nasty thing by me now. And then sometimes it'll just be like for a certain part of the night to harass me, and then they'll stop. It really just depends, I guess, on whoever's controlling the thing, right? Or whatever mood the person is in. But I'm the bipolar one, right? Anyway, so anyways, look, they started making the music when I said that to Gaslight. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. God, I'm getting distracted, y'all. So the big loud music, y'all hear that? Listen. No, that's Ref Campaign, but I was hearing music too. What was I saying? So I just noticed hardcore last week. They were doing it like hardcore, and it's like already irritating. I'm sitting outside, I'm dealing with them biting me up, then I have to deal with them humming in my ear. I'm like, what is this? Why are they doing this, right? And two, remember last week I hit my goal of, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I've already proven to you all, right, that whenever things are going good for me, even if it's just like a little small good thing, like everything's effed up. Like I have a whole freaking bachelor's degree. I graduated magna cum laude. I'm gonna keep saying it and screaming it from the mountaintops. And it's like hard for me to even, get a job in the career field that I typically work in. I have a resume full of experience. And at the moment, all I can do is security. So what more do you want? It's like they're so bothered with the strength that I have and the fact that I'm not busting down with the things they're doing, that even still they're bothered. Like just me working out like is a problem. Like they keep trying to paint it like I'm thirsty. They keep all these different false things to try and discourage me from working out. The transportation issue that was happening, I told you guys about. Things amping up on me anytime I do anything even slightly productive. I didn't even give the thing attention. I wasn't going to, but last week when I left the gym after I squatted the 300 pounds for the first time, they timed it so that this guy was coming out in an army shirt with a cart full of water. I purposely didn't pay attention to it because I didn't want to give them that reaction, but these are the things they're doing. So this is why I'm like, did they amp it up because I started squatting heavier? Is that what's going on? I have to wonder, because it's this weird thing where it's like they're so bothered by me not busting down, or the fact that I'm doing little small things that seem productive despite the fact that my whole life is in shambles. Like, what more do you really want? So anyways, so I don't know what's going on, but last week they started to amp up with the thing, man. Amp up at work with the humming. I was even noticing it in the neighborhood that I live in, right? Like I started hearing it. Remember I told you they were doing it at the end of last year at work and at home, like literally almost all day long. And it started to have a real effect on me to the point where I was having like extreme sleep apnea, etc. Right? And then they finally held off and stopped, doing what they were doing. And so I just noticed last week they started to amp up with it, like go ham with the thing. So I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I need to document. I kept saying like, I need to document this. This is serious, especially if it's having some sort of effect on me. I need to make sure I'm documenting this, like when certain things took place and what started happening with me physically, what started happening to me physically when that thing was taking place. So I just want to show y'all some text messages that I sent to my mom, right? It sounds like somebody's about to speed by. No, they're turning on the generator. I just want to show y'all some text messages as documentation. 2 nights where I texted my mom about it. It happened way more than just these 2 nights where you see me texting her about it. But I just want to show y'all these text messages. Sorry, y'all. I'm just looking for why I texted her about the thing. You have to understand, we text all the time, y'all. So I know I texted her more recently than this about hearing the hum. This is why I'm getting confused as to where the text is. That's odd. Nah, that's not right. I texted her more. Let me see. Maybe it was in the group chat. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Here we go. I put it in the group chat. So this was Wednesday. Y'all can see this was Wednesday. Documenting another night where I am hearing the loud hum similar to Havana syndrome. My eardrums are hurting. Also starting to feel queasy. Randomly happening again tonight. You see that I said again, right? Because it kept happening. There was another text that I sent about it, but this is the group chat and it's full of stuff. So I'm probably going to have an even more difficult time finding when I sent it again. But understand, I was just there on Wednesday, right? Now I'm going to look into one with my mom because that's typically who I text about. I don't typically put it in the group chat, but that night, for whatever reason, I put it in the group chat. There's more times where I've texted her about it. Look, they started to hum again now because I was able to find the text message. That's crazy. They started doing it in my ear just because I was able to find the text message. And look how it's making my mouth do that kind of weird vibrating thing. That's the other thing. You know, in these recent videos, I was telling y'all about the fact that when they stare at me and I lay in my bed, you know, I felt like I told you guys it's like this intangible thing where it's like obviously it's not like you can physically feel their eyes on you, but it almost feels that way. Like it feels like I can actually feel their eyes on me. And it makes it, well, I assumed that it was making me have like this nervous twitch where it just feels like my body's twitching and I can't really control it, you know, because of just the discomfort of being stared at. But I heard that target in the video I was talking about earlier with the guy in New York that was showing the lady that was talking about her genitals being burnt. She was just talking about how these different technologies can mess with you neurologically. I already know that. I've talked about that before. I've even talked about the twitch with my jaw. How on that diagram from DARPA, if you look through my videos, you'll see it with the thumbnail with the drawing of the lady and the different captions showing you the different effects of this technology on the human body. You'll see that one of the symptoms is jaw clanking. But they purposely like to make me feel uncomfortable about that because they tied it to this false narrative from last year. So constantly, even though I know it's stupidness and I know they're being spiteful, I'm like locking up my jaw and making myself uncomfortable to stop the thing from happening whenever it starts happening. And I believe it's them. I believe it's some sort of neurological, it says so, symptom from what they're doing. And so oftentimes I'll catch myself when I'm being stupid about it and I'll purposely move my mouth on purpose, you know, to buck back against what they're doing. But even that twitching thing that happens to me when I'm laying there in the bed, I believe also is them. I believe that's some sort of neurological effect from the technology because the lady was talking about how her body be pulsing too and feeling like it's pulsing and vibrating. I might play that clip for you. I just don't want to get a copyright strike from that guy's video where she's talking about her body pulsing and vibrating too. So it's some sort of thing with this technology, man. Anyway, I was looking. I didn't mean to stay here. I don't know what's happened. Whatever could happen to you, there could happen when all of us are gone. Then we all know. Oh, this was when my mom was trying to get me to come up to my grandfather's funeral, and I did not. I know that sounds terrible. You know, this is like the life of a target, the horrible things that happen. I didn't even attend my grandfather's funeral. I didn't attend my mother's 60th birthday. They had some bash in the U.S., in the mainland. They're flying the fly by with their wickedness. You know, that's wickedness again. Anyways, and I also didn't even go to my younger brother's graduation. You know, it's gaslighting that they do when they know full well why I don't want to go back to this. I have not been back to the mainland since 2022 when all that crazy shit happened to me. And I refuse to go back there until I get out of this program. And so nobody will gaslight me about that. But anyway, so that's what you were reading just there on the screen. I'm just looking for why I texted her again about this comment thing because there's been several times where I've texted her about it. That's why you saw in that last text message in the group chat I said again, right? I know I'm not gonna sit here looking for it, y'all. That's enough documentation, you know. I don't need to find any more, right? That's good enough. I don't want this video to be too long. But anyway, so I noticed that like last week now, you remember I'm home during the daytime. I leave on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Remember I said that in my last video. Check it out, y'all. I had it private and I decided to make it public. So that's why you're just seeing that video, gang stalking in the gym, question mark. I posted, it looks like I posted it 2 hours ago, but I actually created that video, I believe it was it yesterday? What is today? Today's Thursday? Well, it's Friday technically because it's after 12 a.m., but it's still kind of like Thursday. So it wouldn't technically be yesterday, but kind of feels like yesterday. Wednesday though. I posted that video Wednesday night after the gym where I was documenting some, what I suspect to have been gang stalking activity in the gym. But anyways, what was I saying about that video? You hear the loud bird drone going off, y'all? That's why I'm getting distracted. Listen. Look how they stopped doing it now. Listen. I know y'all hear that generic bird sound. You know, they tried to kind of stop it when I stopped talking, but it's just like so much stuff to distract me. They're doing the hum in my ear. They have a generator that they keep turning on and off to noise campaign me. They're doing the bird drones. They have the insect drones flying in my face. It's an all-out technological assault. And then ever so often you have the random person in whatever corner they're parked up in, you know, turning up their loudspeaker, you know, so it's distracting me and they know I have ADD. Anyways, I forgot why I started showing you this gang stalking video. There was something, I know I'm going to listen back to this and realize why. Oh yeah, that's why. I was telling y'all that I showed you my workout schedule in that gang stalking in the gym video. There are other videos where I've shown you my workout schedule before, but the most recent video where I've shown y'all it is that gang stalking in the gym video. Anyway, so I go to the gym on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You know I work at night at the moment. I am, as I've said in my recent videos, like my career update video, planning to start school again very soon. Like hopefully at the end of this year, if the most I spares my life. I'm trying to get my MLIS, my master's in library science, right? So that's a goal I'm looking at. I'm also thinking about taking the courses to complete my provisional certification. That's my teaching certification. I'm still looking at that too, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm still a teacher and I'm not gonna let this stupid bullshit stop me or take me off of my course, right? So even though I am trying to become a librarian, I do want the ability to go back and teach anytime that I want to. I should have that right. You know, I haven't done anything wrong and I'm not gonna let them deter me because of spite. So I felt like I would still go ahead and get my provisional certification just in case, you know, I end up teaching again. I might do adult ed. I'm so traumatized with what they've done that even if I were given the opportunity to work with younger people again, I've only worked with high schoolers. I've worked with elementary school students too, but on a minor scale. You know, for the most part, most of my experience has been with older students, right? High schoolers. Even if given the opportunity again, I don't even know if I'd want to because I'm so traumatized with what's happened to me, with my thoughts being projected and the sensitization and the programming and the painting of false narratives. But at the end of the day, I still do want to teach. You know, I do want that opportunity. I do, not the opportunity necessarily, but I want that to be an available option for me. With all the experience I have and all the schooling that I took, like I want that to still be an available option for me. So I said I would take those courses because my certificate expires next year, 2025. I said I would take the courses and let that thing, you know, become permanent. It doesn't become permanent. Well, it kind of does, but what happens is you have to every few years recertify, you know, take the courses again, you know, because things are constantly changing in education. But for now, let that be secure for me. So I do want to take those courses as well. So anyway, these are things I'm thinking about. But at the moment, my days are free. You know, I do security at night. And rather than laying on my ass all day, I'm working out. I'm going to the gym. I've always worked out my whole life. I refuse to lay in the bed all day while they hum in my ear or they make the bird drones or they fly the flies in my face or they're making noises in the neighborhood and they're revving by and I'm twitching in the bed and being stared at, the freaky weird freak show type shit. I refuse to lay in the bed all day and let that be my life, right? So I'm getting up and I'm forcing myself to get out and I'm going and I'm working out. I'm taking care of my body. I'm healing my body from all the weird stuff that's taken place since I've gotten back on island. And then also too, just therapeutic for my mind, man. I've always worked out. It's just something I've always done. And more than ever now, it's come in handy and it's been healing me. So irritated. I just want to punch the person who's doing that bird drone sound. Like, this is the wrathful response they be looking for. They really got it today, boy. I was really thinking some nasty thoughts today. They really got a wrathful response today. And I don't know if it was them with their technology, because they can change your mood with their technology, or if it's just a breakdown of just constant harassment and antagonization, and then also feeling physical effects on my body when I didn't do anything, and they just can do this just for the hell of it. It just makes you so angry sometimes, right? But that's what they want, and then some targets unfortunately bite the bait, and they're provoked into these wrathful responses, and then they end up in the clinker, they punch somebody in the face or some crazy shit, ram into somebody's car, whatever it is, end up in the clinker, right? Or in the mental institute. And I refuse to be that person. They'll never get that from me. I'm telling you, I would quicker just sit there and take what they're doing and not whatever, because I know the Most High is going to deal with it. Anyway, so let me finish though. I had some nasty thoughts earlier. I'll get to that in a minute on what caused that, right? This is all a part of this documentation. I don't want this video to be too long, y'all. It's done with their bullshit. Like, they always make me get distracted, and then I start going off on tangents, and I can find my way back, but it's like the tangent already happened, and then the video's super long. Anyway, I was talking about last week, right? So they were doing a Havana syndrome like crazy last week. And so I did start to feel physical effects, because I was trying to explain to y'all that I'm off during the daytime at the moment. My days are free. I do security at night, and then my days are free. I go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's a certain time I go to the gym. But then Tuesday, if it's not a bike ride weekday, remember every other Tuesday I ride my bike. And even still, the bike ride is like 20 minutes. So basically you can say Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in the house all day long, right? The gym days, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I'm in the house until I decide to go to the gym. Typically I will rest and then wake up and go to the gym. But there are moments where I'm still in the house, and I'm having that moment where I'm laying in bed, right? And anything could be going down. I'm not protected. I haven't purchased the shielding paint yet. And if you're not familiar with what that is, look into it, y'all. There's something called shielding paint, EMF shielding protection. Look into Y-Shield, y'all. Y-Shield H5 shielding paint. But that shielding paint, you can paint it around your house, or at least in your room if you just want to shield your room. And it can block out toxic frequencies. It can block out radio frequency identification signals. It can block out remote control signals. So these drones that they're using to surveil you, these MAV, micro air vehicle insect drones that they're using to surveil you, won't be able to function in your room if you paint your room with the shielding paint. So I'm looking into getting that, y'all, but it's very expensive. It's $230 for a 5 liter container, right? And to paint a whole room probably would take like 2. You got to do like a double coat, probably take like 2 containers. Then you got to ground your room too. They recommend you hire an electrician, but realistically as a target, you're not going to hire an electrician, because technically likely they're not going to really, do the, I don't know. I just wouldn't trust hiring an electrician. I just feel like, they like to say this thing about trust. Like, the theme of my targeting is bearing false witness and not trusting people. But like, literally, as a target, there's always oftentimes some sort of level of sabotage. And if you're trying to block them out with the cameras, that's the main thing that they're using to do what they're doing. I just feel like if I hired an electrician, the job wouldn't get done properly on purpose. Like, that's just what I suspect. I'm not bearing false witness. So I'd rather learn how to do it myself. Man, y'all, I'm becoming a handy woman. I'm learning how to do stuff I didn't even know how to do due to my targeting. Piercing myself, putting my bike together, learning how to fix cars, all kinds of crazy shit, y'all. Anyways, let me finish what I'm saying though. So last week, during the daytime, I'm noticing now that I started feeling that kind of way, like what happened to me. Look how they're trying to distract me. What was happening to me like last year, where it's like during the daytime, I'm getting up and I'm feeling like that constriction in my chest. Like I'm waking up from sleeping, if I'm waking up to get ready for the gym, or if it's like I said, the Tuesday or Thursday where I'm home, I'm waking up and I'm noticing I'm feeling like a tightness in my chest. And then it'll turn into like this heart palpitation thing, because I start to feel like this panicky, anxious feeling because of the constriction in my chest. That does cause anxiety. And so, naturally that then causes you to feel like you can't breathe good. And so rather than panicking and freaking out like me of old would have likely done, I breathe slow. I know how to slow my heart rate down, and I'm going to tell y'all how to do it too. Because the last thing you need when that's happening to you is for your heart to be beating super fast. That just makes it worse. Then you start hyperventilating, and that's when you're entering into dangerous territory. Look at this nasty thing here now. They're flying all kinds of insects around me. Like, it's just disgusting, man, what they're doing. It's a beetle. They flew that on me the other night. I had to send it to my boss. this beetle when she was giving me the directive that I had to sit outside all night, and I was telling her, can I at least sit in my car when I'm not doing patrol? It's that same beetle that attacked me. I had to even send it to her in a text message trying to show her, like, hey, like, can I please sit in my vehicle? Because, all kinds of stuff is happening out here. Anyway, they're just trying to distract me from documenting and saying what I'm going to say. Anyway, so the worst thing that you can do is start to, panic and feel anxious about, even though that's the natural human response, start to feel anxious about that tight constriction in the chest. What you need to do is slow your breathing down. And so when you start feeling like that anxious, panicky feeling due to that constricting feeling in your chest, what you need to do is slow your breathing down. And how you can slow your breathing down is take 2 breaths in, right? So you want to take 2 quick breaths in, and then you want to breathe out slowly, right? So you can look this up. This is a proven technique for people that are having anxiety attacks or whatever it is that's causing your heart to beat super fast. You want to breathe in really quickly, 2 shallow, quick breaths, and then you want to breathe out slowly, right? And that will slow your heart rate down right away. It even works when I'm in the gym, y'all, when I'm weightlifting, because that's something that happens. It kind of emulates weightlifting in a way. Like when you're weightlifting, there's a pressure that happens in your chest too sometimes, especially if you're not using proper breathing techniques. And so what you can do to kind of calm that down and slow down your heart rate is the same thing. 2 quick breaths in and then breathe out really slow. And what that does is it starts to open your lungs up and open your blood vessels up. And so whenever I do that, I notice it slows my heart rate down, and then it buys me more time. And then I'm able to put the T together and help with that constricted feeling in my chest. And that's what's been working for me. And if it's one of those times where it's real bad, then I'll even go outside and put my feet on the earth, right? So that I can oxidate my body. Anyway, I noticed that was happening to me last week, because they were doing the Havana syndrome, right? Overtime at work. I noticed that I started to feel those effects during the daytime. Like I started feeling kind of similar to what was happening to me at the beginning of last year when I suspect they were hitting me with the radiation. I noticed it was happening to me last week. When I was home and I would get a little rest and I wake up, it happened to me several times last week. I don't remember the exact days, right? But I was like, I need to document this. This is strange. Another strange thing that happened was one of those days last week. I don't remember the day. I believe it was Thursday, but I'm not sure. I remembered waking up from my sleep, feeling that same funny kind of tightness in my chest, but also I was feeling a burning sensation in my back, right? And so I was wondering, I was like, I haven't felt this in a long time. The burning sensation is when they're using typically the radiation on you. They haven't done that to me in a long time. Since the beginning of last year when I had gotten super skinny and all that stuff was happening, I'm like, what the hell is this? I started to feel like this burning sensation in my back. I was like, couldn't be. Like, I even started to question my head. I know they're not really doing this, right? I even started to question in my head, are they doing this? And I felt it for a very short stint and then it stopped. And I haven't felt it again since that day. But I don't know. I suspect that maybe they did, they're doing a lot I suspect is being done. Again, I'm not bearing false witness because I don't want to give an excuse for them to do more. Because it seems like when I document these things, if I can't concretely prove it, then they'll use that as like an excuse to like really full throttle do whatever. So I'm definitely telling you that I'm not accusing. I'm telling you that I suspect that this is what's being done. And I'm telling you the physical things that I've been experiencing. I've been hearing the hum thing a lot at work at night last week. And then waking up during the daytime and feeling kind of funny, right? And then I even, similar to what was happening to me last year, and then I even woke up one day last week and felt a burning sensation in my back, one day last week. Then Monday of this week, Monday that just passed, remember I just showed y'all it's Friday. I don't have to show y'all, I know y'all know what day it is. But whenever you watch this, you might not have known, right? So Monday that just passed, it was the worst it's been. Me waking up and feeling that weird constricted feeling in my chest. Like I literally, whenever this happens to me, typically, if I wake up and I drink tea, I'm good. So if I fall asleep again and I wake up again, it's not a problem. Like all day while I was home on Monday, I kept waking up with that weird feeling. Like almost 3 times I had to even make the tea and put it in the microwave so I could just have it on deck to sip on it. And I just noticed like I sip the tea, I feel better. I lay down, I go to sleep, I wake up again. It happened like 3 times on Monday. So I just want to document y'all because it's weird, it's like the amped up stuff. It seems, it would seem that way, right? With the hum and whatever else. And I've had some physical effects from it and I'm documenting it for my protection. Anyway, next thing, y'all, that I want to talk about now is the shadow networking thing that I said I wanted to talk about. I just want to show you the shit they sent me earlier, right? Remember I showed y'all. Let me just see how long this video's been going. 54 minutes. Okay, let me hurry up. Because I'm now entering into the realm of it being a long video. Remember for this video, part 3 example of the shadow networking AI software utilized on targets. And you can see the thumbnail says stalked by the media. And you see in the back of some guy, right? I know that looks like a long video, but it's worth the watch, y'all. Out of all of my shadow networking example videos, that's the best one. Well, aside from the part 4 where I actually show you an example of them changing technology in real time, changing a video in real time. Look, they're flying another insect. Something's wrong with them, you know. I'm telling you. Anyways, so that part 3 video is the best one so far, because with that part 3 video, I'm sorry, y'all, that it's undistracted. They're flying all kinds of stuff, y'all. All kinds of insect drones and stuff at me, and you can hear the bird drone going off in the background. In that part 3 video, not only was I just breaking down some of the tactics they use and how they use the shadow networking technology to mess with you psychologically, you know, try to make you believe heinous, false things about yourself, smear your name and just paint these false, you know, this false image of who you are, and try to it's almost like they're trying to get you to believe this false image that they're trying to portray of you too. You know, of course they're trying to get others to believe it. They know you're being watched by all these different people, right? But then they're also trying to get you to believe the bullshit too, right? So I was just breaking it down in that video. You know, one of the things they kept trying to insinuate that I was like It the clown. You know, it is such a heinous, horrible thing. And if you check out that video, you'll see me break it down and what they were trying to do, right? And even when I watched the movie, right, I actually watched it because it kept sending the bullshit to me. I watched the movie, and at the end of the movie, they were basically telling me what they're doing. You know, with it, how they destroyed him was getting him to believe false things about himself. You know, they're telling him, you're super small. You know, he started getting really small. They said, your heart is weak and beating fast in your chest. And his heart got weak and it started beating out of his chest. And then, this sounds so horrible if you haven't seen the movie, they literally ripped his heart out and ripped it up. Like, they sick shit. Like, but this is what they're doing with this program. They're portraying these false images of you. They're all ganging up against you, and not everyone is involved. I keep saying this. You know, everyone's watching, yeah, but not everyone's involved. But enough people are involved to tear an individual down if you're not cognizant of what's going on and you don't have the wherewithal to withstand what's happening. But they're all whoever it is involved, ganging up against you, portraying this false narrative and projecting that at you. And so that becomes your reality. Because unfortunately, you live in the world with them, right? And the majority rules. That saying didn't come out of nowhere. If the majority starts to pretend like something's true, then that becomes your reality. Because you live with them and they're projecting this false narrative on you. Whether it's true or not, that becomes your reality. For instance, if they all decide to start to pretend like I stink, like some of them like to try to do, right? Try to pretend like you stink, and they all collectively start doing it, whether it's true or not, you become the stink girl, because they're all acting like you stink, and so that becomes your reality, whether it's true or not. And that's the tactic they use in this program. Yuck. Sorry, I stepped on a bug. But that's the tactic they're using in this program. It's just basically like collective bullying and helping each other to paint this false narrative and make it your reality, basically. Hold on, y'all. Let me get back in my seat. So that's what they're doing with the technology. It's like ganging up on you. Like, they're sending you these false narratives, you know, trying to malign you and paint you in this certain light. And then you have the external gang stalkers, while they're using the shadow networking software to send the stimuli, whatever it is, to sensitize you or to paint the false narrative. You have the external gang stalkers who are staring at you via these insect drones, all making noises. Like I told you, remember I told you earlier, you know, a little while ago, how the guy in New York, when he was showing the lady who was talking about them burning her genitals, and how he was saying how disgusting and vile it was. And when he said that they all started revving by, I heard the revving in his video, and I saw the poor man start to get uncomfortable. You know, it's so reminiscent of what happens to me. This is what they do. But it's like simple things like that, where they're painting these false narratives, and then you have the external gang stalkers staring at you and making noises, you know, staring at you obsessively all day long, and then making noises to pound in the programming that's being sent via the shadow networking. So let me show you the bullshit they sent me earlier. And let me show you how it's hypocrisy and how they're more like what they were trying to portray me as, right? Let me show you. And my battery's getting low too, y'all. I don't want this thing to start acting the fool. I feel like I need to go back over by my charger, because the battery's getting low, y'all. I'm actually just trying to hurry up and finish the video, to be quite real with you, but I don't want to walk all the way over there again. Let me walk back over there and just plug this thing in, y'all. It's just the problem was they kept turning up music with their stupidness. That's why I moved, but my charger is over there. Dang, actually, no, it's not. I left it in the car. Damn. I'm not about to walk all the way to the car, y'all. Let me just try to hurry up and finish this video because I'm seeing I'm on 16%. So anyways, y'all, what was I saying? I was talking about, okay, this video that they sent to me. So also in this video, y'all, also in this part 3 video, I was showing y'all how they were using the shadow networking technology. That's what you see in the thumbnail. That's them using the technology on another target, where they're doing the same thing to him, sending him a video, right, where they're basically roasting him subliminally through the video, because that's what they do when they paint these false narratives and they send you the videos with subliminal messaging in it to portray like these false narratives of you. Like they'll send you a video, for instance, talking about like this person, right? It'll be like a news special about some psychotic freak, because that's typically who they send, psychotic freaks. They'll send you a video about some psychotic freak that chops some lady up in his kitchen, right? And the person that they're talking about in the news special, they're relating you to the person. Like, for instance, the person will have ADD like how you have, right? And they'll start saying the person, whatever it is that maybe you said something offensive in your targeting. Like for me, for instance, I told you that in my car in Florida, I shared some offensive Hebrew Israelite propaganda. The guy that they sent me earlier, he had a deep hate for people of a different race, and he had a deep hate for others, and this and that. This is what they do, and paint this false narrative and try to kind of compare somebody that's not anything like you to you, and it's usually these heinous, like freaking creepy, shady type of characters, right? For instance, the guy in the thumbnail for this part 3 video, right, where they were using it on another target. I'm about to play it for y'all to see some of it. This guy is another creep that apparently killed some lady in his apartment, right? He had the same name as the target that they were trying to sensitize. Same spelling, everything. The dude's name is Sean, right? Typically, Sean is spelled S-E-A-N. The less common spelling of Sean is S-H-A-W-N. This guy in the video coincidentally had the name Sean. They even had it written on the whiteboard in his room. Spelled the same way as the dude, the target. In his apartment, as they're going through what's in his apartment, they're roasting him, right? They're roasting him for being creepy, right? And having certain things in his apartment. He had cleaning bubbles in his apartment, right? So the same cleaning bubbles that the Sean that was watching the video had in his apartment, right? That Sean didn't have no body in his room. So him having cleaning bubbles in his room is showing cleanliness, right? They're making it seem like this obscure, obscene thing, because this freaky man here that had a body in his apartment had the same cleaning bubbles. He's like the ominous cleaning bubbles, and I don't know if it's the desktop skull or the ominous cleaning bubbles. Like just going in on the dude, right? And the dude had similar things in his freaking apartment to the Sean who they're trying to emulate. And so as they're roasting the dude, they're subliminally roasting Sean who's watching the video. Mind you, he's being stared at by all of these gang stalkers. So again, it's painting this false narrative, but also trying to humiliate him. It's this weird, creepy thing that they do. And they're always trying to compare you to like these monstrous, and they're always using those type of words too. They're always using the word like monstrous or, creepy or, weird, or just these weird adjectives to describe whoever it is that they're subliminally actually portraying as you, right? And oftentimes these things that they're portraying as you is actually more so how they are. Like they're stalking you 24/7. They're watching you as you go in the bathroom. Sometimes they're watching your private parts while you use the toilet. I don't know if that's not creepy. I don't know what is. They're frying people who haven't even committed a crime, and then you want to compare me to Charles Manson? Because the guy they showed earlier that they sent to me that chopped up a lady in his bathroom, right? And he supposedly was on Ritalin, right? So he had ADD like me. They're comparing him to Charles Manson, and they're saying he had posters of Charles Manson in his room, and, you know, he thought he was God, and he was in a cult, you know, again, trying to paint Hebrew Israelites as a cult. Now, let me clarify that. I don't identify as Hebrew anymore. I already said this. I believe in the Most High. I believe in the Bible. That's something I learned growing up in my household, right? It's a free country. You can't freaking villainize somebody for their belief system, whatever it is. The offensive stuff, again, I've never shared it. I shared it out of anger in my vehicle. Even if I were vehemently still sharing that offensive content, that doesn't mean that I'm in a cult, and that doesn't mean that you have the right to do the things that you're doing to me physically because I didn't break any laws. I shared offensive content out of anger. But even if I vehemently wanted to share that right now, that doesn't validate what's being done to me. That doesn't validate what's being done to me because I haven't broken the law. The Hebrew Israelites, just so you understand, remember I've told you there are different sectors of Hebrew Israelites. So you have the ones that believe the offensive ideologies I was sharing in my vehicle, and then you have ones that have different understandings. It's just like Christianity, you have different denominations of that belief system. Understand that with Hebrew Israelites, we believe in the Bible. It's to the point where we're following it literally. So we don't believe in murder. Understand that there's never been any recording of a Hebrew Israelite doing something violent. We're sharing information of what our interpretation of the Bible is. And again, there are different denominations of Hebrew. So some believe in that offensive content that I shared in my vehicle, and others don't. But it's just an interpretation and an ideology from the Bible. So understand, we're following it to a T. We don't believe in murder. So already that bullshit they were sharing with this dude that was a part of some satanic cult and following Charles Manson and pretending like he was God, that's so freaking opposite of what Hebrews believe in, because we're believing the Bible to a T. It's to the point where we're following all of the laws to a T, right? So it's like no murder, right? You believe in all of the 10 commandments. You believe the Most High is the Most High, just like Christians do. We just say the Hebrew name. So Yahshua is Jesus. That's just the Hebrew name. Remember, Hebrew is the first language. God is Yahweh. So we're just using the first language. That's all. It was all in Hebrew initially. Understand that, right? Even Jewish people who I've offended, they say Yeshua, right? So understand that it's not a cult. And it's not some sort of weird, creepy thing where we're sacrificing, because that's the other weird, creepy shit that the dude was doing in the video. Something about sacrificing animals on this weird, freaky shit. You know, they try to paint these false narratives and compare you to these creepy, weird-ass people, and it's no comparison. There's nothing like that in the Hebrew Israelite understanding. I don't know what weird, freaky shit they come in with. Anyway, so let me now go ahead and show you guys the weird shit they sent me, right? I'm not going to play the video. I just want to, if y'all want to check it out, go ahead. I don't want to get copyright struck down for it, right? Look at what they send. Now all of a sudden I have a notification. I guess one of the gang stalkers. They have people commenting on my videos, y'all, that are gang stalkers. Some of them are legit targets. I can tell that they're truly targeted. And then some of them are like trolls, like gang stalkers. You know how they have to be a part of everything you're doing. They have to, you know, be under your videos. They have to be around you physically. They have to be making noise campaigns. They have to be in the bathroom with you in the toilet while you taking a shit. You know, just weird stuff. Anyway, so look at this. This is what they sent me. And remember, I just told y'all, what video was it where I told y'all this? Where I told y'all that they get you with these videos. Like, they'll have like an interesting name, right? And thumbnail that's going to make you want to click, you know, like clickbait. And when you click on it, you know they're baiting you too, and you know it's going to be full of shadow networking, but you still click it like a dummy. And then when you click, it's full of bullshit shadow networking with them, again, trying to subliminally roast you and compare you to this creepy, heinous thing, right? So it said she was fed to the homeless. You see the thumbnail? So of course you want to click on it. Like, what? Fed to the homeless? What the fuck? You know, so you click on it. When I click on it, this creepy ass dude that basically grew up in this household where I don't know what was going on with his dad, right? But apparently his mom died when he was younger. And so his dad went and married his mom's sister. So already he's seeing that and fucked up. You know, apparently that fucked his head up, right? And then some weird stuff was going on in the household, it seems, and he grew up depressed, and apparently he was bullied and people were beating him up. That's already a false narrative. They're running with the fact that I said my sisters and I in the last video, you know, they instantly simulate. I said my sisters and I in the last video were kind of nerdy. in middle school and high school, and then we had a glow up phase after we graduated. And then I said my brothers were more cool. I was never bullied. I was never beat up. First of all, I'm too strong to be beat up. Nobody would ever dare, right? I was always playing sports and I was athletic. I was never beat up. I was never bullied. Bullying didn't happen to me until adulthood when I became targeted. I was never bullied. I was just more of the nerdy girl because of my reserved personality. I typically hung out with the nerdy crew, like the band crew, those type of people, because of my reserved, quiet-natured personality. I was never bullied. So I didn't grow up with issues. Not to talk against anyone that's bullied, because there are plenty of people that are bullied in high school that don't turn into psychos that chop people up in the kitchen. But I'm just saying, this is what they do, where they portray these false narratives. So anyways, so that's already the setting that they're setting up, right? Trying to create this false narrative. Then they said he was popping Ritalin. Anybody that knows about Ritalin knows that that's an ADHD medicine. First of all, I have ADD, not ADHD, right? So I don't have the hyperactive version of the thing. I've told you I have the inattentive form, and I've never taken medication for it, ever. So that's already a false narrative right there. And it's never caused any urges for me to chop people up. The only thing that it's done is made me lose focus and go off on tangents, which is really annoying. So anyways, so apparently, like, he was, he met up with this girl. He was homeless at one point in time. He ended up getting an apartment, however he got it. Met up with some female that was a go-go dancer. That's kind of like a step up from being a stripper, basically. Met up with her. She was kind of trying to scheme and fraud. She was trying to look for a place to stay, right? So she saw this, I guess, schmuck that she could take advantage of. Started messing with the dude. I guess he got feelings, and he let her move in. She decided to use her go-go dancing money to pay his lease, or I forgot what the story said. Something about she paid his rent for the month or some crazy shit like that. And ended up kind of trying to plot and scheme to take his apartment from him. And so this girl that he was living with, right, I don't think he was messing with her. I think she was just a roommate, was warning him about the girl. She could kind of see that the girl was using him. And he was like, no, I'm in love. I guess he got whipped or whatever happened. And, went full throttle into the relationship, and she really was plotting to kick him out. And so when he found out, he started plotting to kill her. And so he went and told the girl that warned him about the girl in the first place that he was planning to kill her. And the girl didn't tell the police. So this is why I feel like she actually wanted the girl to get killed, because it's like, you could have reported. She knew he was weird. She knew he had a weirdness going on, and she did not tell the police. They all knew he kind of had this weirdness going on. And in the video, they were even saying he had pictures of Charles Manson, a known serial killer, on his wall. And also to what other weird shit? He used to cut off cats' heads or some weird creepy shit like that. So they knew he was on some weird shit, man. And she didn't go tell the police. She purposely, I feel like, didn't. But anyways, when I'm watching that part of the video, do you understand that the gang stalkers in the background are making noise campaign? Like, they're in support of her not telling the police, and they're in support of him killing the girl because she used him? I'm like, wait a minute. So you're making noise campaign in the background, because it's like they're bipolar too, right? You're making noise campaign in the background when they're trying to paint this portrayal of me via this video with this creepy man, right? Because that's what they were trying to do, right? You're making noise campaign about that. But then in the same instance, you're making noise campaign in support of him killing and offing this lady, chopping her head off because she used him. I understand she used him. I'm not in support of her using him or any woman using a man. But you feel like she should have gotten chopped up in the kitchen because she used him? And I'm the one that's like Charles Manson. You understand what I'm saying? That there's some sort of craziness going on here? Even the use of the technology where targets are getting fried, their genitals getting fried, all kinds of crazy shit. Like, to me, that's Charles Manson sociopathic type behavior. I couldn't do that to somebody. I couldn't use this technology on somebody. I'm just being real. I wouldn't be able to do that and sleep at night. I wouldn't be able to do it. But you're painting me like I'm the one that's like Charles. Okay. All right. Makes sense. Anyway, so I just want to talk about that, y'all, because I found it to be crazy. And I just want y'all to understand this is something to do to all targets. If you check out this video here, this one with the guy, the Sean guy, you see they were doing it to him too. Trying to compare him and subliminally roast him via this video and compare him to this Sean in the video, who was a complete freak. Trying to compare him to that guy in the video. So I just wanted to talk about that, y'all, and show you the craziness and how they portray these false narratives with these videos. And then also just documenting what's been happening to me this last week, and then some of the physical effects I felt from what was happening. Anyways, I'll talk. The video will truly be a workout of the most I experienced in my life. Anyway, talk to y'all in the next one, man. Peace out.